Hi guys, I just wanted to show you some meal prep for the week I decided to do. I was kind of on a roll. I've got my pie crust, my pizza dough mix, sourdough, delicious. I've got my McCormick, upside down, cherry pie, no added sugar, buttermilk, I've got onions, I've got these Ziploc baggies. I also have a food processor I used and these little handy dandy guys for the Ziplocs. They're great. So I'm showing you guys the little doodads that I showed you earlier, the little green things. Here's how you can hold them open with one if you only have a few, but it's better if you're doing big marinades like these gallon bags if you have two, like so. I'll show you why. Look how open that mouth is versus this one. It'll still do the job, but I love the two together. Shaking up the buttermilk here for the buttermilk chicken. This comes from the Lemonade Cookbook from LA. My days in LA, that was like my favorite lunch place. I honestly was happy ordering all sides when I went there. Everything was good. The sides are like phenomenal. So I love this cookbook. I'm doing 2 cups of buttermilk each. Basically, I think it's stupid not to double the recipe. Here's the paprika, because you will use it all and it's like once effort, twice you get to use it. It calls for loosely chopped onions, which is so much easier than finely chopped onions because it's for the marinade, not to eat. Same with the garlic. It calls for pressed garlic. Here's how you guys do it. These are already pre-peeled garlic from Trader Joe's to save yourself the trouble, but you can use regular if you have it. How you press garlic is you take a big knife like this and you just rock it back and forth till it's smushed, basically. You see how I'm using my body weight? Really throw your weight into it. Use it like you're doing CPR and you smush them up real good to get the flavors out. Some fresh salt. I could have measured this, but I just, I know what about a teaspoon of salt or tablespoon of salt is at this point. So I saved myself the trouble unless I'm baking, which is more like a science. Cooking is more like an art. Putting in all these chicken breasts from Heritage Farms to marinate them up. And make sure you smush all the air out of your marinade to make sure you don't get too much air in there and that you can move things around. And then abuse the bag to get all of the ingredients nice and mixed up. Label it so you know when it was made, what it is. I won't forget, but there it is. And bag number 2. And voila. I also have these super cute Kate Spade set. The lid's really cracked really quickly, but I think they're so adorable. I still use them. Sometimes I'll just put like press and seal on them, but I'll use the lids when they work. This is a different one. This is a citrus cilantro salsa verde marinade. It was delicious, you guys. I just always roll my limes or whatever citrus before I squeeze it to get more juice out. I will get a bartender's juicer at some point, but I just use my hands because I don't have one yet. It's good exercise, makes your forearms strong. And here's my grater to do some zest. It made it really delicious and fresh tasting. Called for orange juice to go with the lime juice and a whole jalapeno. Yes, you should probably wear gloves while doing jalapeno. I washed my hands right away, didn't touch my eyes, was really careful, but yes, it's ideal to wear gloves. I just don't have any. And that was garlic, I believe. And then I spared you guys me not being able to put my food processor back together, which happens. You just try not to get frustrated, guys. So I showed it on fast forward a little bit. I'm like going around and around and around and finally get it. Come on, come on, come on. There it goes. So the blade had to get lined up and then it had to get lined up with the notches. See, I'm not perfect. I'm type 8-ish, I'm not perfect. So here's blending up all of that marinade, which tasted amazing. And you do reserve some of it to pour over the chicken. I'll show you at the end here how it turned out. That was the spices it called for. Again, more salt, blah, blah, blah. There's my dog, well, goodbye. And the fresh garlic. Sorry, not fresh garlic, cilantro, and the fresh ginger, which it calls for, which made it really fresh tasting too. This recipe called for chicken thighs, and boy, did they get crispy. That's why I chose them. Oh, deja vu. That's what the marinade looks like. Shake it down really, really good. And if you have a special, you can use a Ziploc again. I have the special marinade thing. I got this at Target a couple years ago. any sort of box like this or on Amazon. I'll see if I can find one and link it for you. This thing's awesome because you can shake it around. It has like little grooves in it that make sure every little bit gets marinated. So it's really liquid. This is where we're at so far, adding this to the outdoor fridge where I've been keeping my meal prep this week. Normally that's a beverage fridge, but we work with what we've got, right? Here is that marinade that I made, the cilantro lime. That is to save to pour over the chicken. And I decided to make a creamy version too because I couldn't find the original recipe I wanted, but the one I did had the creamy sauce. All I did was add sour cream to the other one, so I had 2 different kinds, which is great if you have a family or have people who have different preferences. This is not a very kid-friendly one because there's jalapeno in it, unless your kids love spicy food like we did when we were kids, but I was raised by Texans, so there you go. Putting it in that other Kate Spade bowl. Nice consistency. Then I decided to do a little clean so I could bake pie and make sure the crusts were gonna be nice and clean. I double dried this too after I cleaned it, just to make sure we didn't have any chemicals, even though I use a more chemical-free cleaning. So I started with my Pyrex pie plate here. That was my grandmother's. I'm just using Pillsbury here. If I was being really ambitious, I'd make my own crusts, but I often cheat. We eat somewhat gluten-free. This time we did not. Then I realized I needed a smaller pie plate and switched it over to my Christmassy one. I really needed like an 8 or 9 inch, not a 9.5 or whatever that was. So I worked so hard on that scale of judges and then I just started over again. It's okay, guys. That's why this is type A-ish, not like perfectionville.com. You know, this is for real people. And we learn as we go. So here's that no sugar added McCormick. It still is quite sweet, but it's definitely less sweet than regular pie if you're used to regular pie. I'll be quiet. I love the ASMR of this. And for the second pie crust it comes with, I normally do this with a pizza cutter because it's faster, but I couldn't find my pizza cutter. True confessions. So I just used a big knife and that was fine. So you go across one way. Sometimes it's easier to start with the middle piece and work to the sides, but this time I just went straight across. And you go over, under, and don't forget to go opposite every other, which is the hard part. So I did start in the middle here and kind of basket weaved it. Just make sure to do the opposite to make it really pretty. My friend Kim makes this lattice so much prettier than I can. I think this is my second time ever doing a lattice pie. I just don't make cherry very often. It's more often like flag pie or I make a lot of apple pie, things like that, especially around the fall. So this is my second attempt ever. Not too bad. I think it's pretty. So make sure you squish those ends together with the other pie crust so it looks like it's all coherent. Here's what it looks like pre-bake. Into the oven it goes. And something fell, so I didn't want it to burn. And here's where we are. There's the pizza crust. I didn't show that part. Here's the sauces that I made. And there's the marinated buttermilk chicken, and there's the marinade for the citrus chicken. And after 20 minutes of baking, I do have this pie crust thing. I'll link it to keep it from burning without having to do foil, and try not to burn your fingers. It's much easier. Here's the cherry pie baked. Oh my God. Here is that citrus lime with chicken, crispy thighs, delicious. And I did some jasmine rice. There's the pie just with some Bridgerton set up. Here's that buttermilk chicken. I put some finger-leaf potatoes with it and some salad. Here's that, what it looks like served. A little ranch on top or sour cream or whatever that is. Then I did caprese salad with some of that leftover buttermilk chicken for a lunch. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if anybody is into that kind of stuff.